Hey guys, welcome back. Today I've got something exciting to share with you guys. This is a little project I've been working on for the last couple of weeks. And if you've been keeping up with my videos, you may have seen a hint dropped or on my Twitter feed or Facebook page. A couple little hints dropped there. But today I'm finally going to unveil this project I've been working on, which I'm calling the Reefberry Pi, which is a DIY aquarium controller that I've been designing and building based on a Raspberry Pi 3. And if you already know what a Raspberry Pi is, you know how cool this project's going to be. And if you don't, stay tuned. You'll certainly hear a lot about this. So just let me move the camera over here. So I've been hard at work for a couple of weeks now, trying to just, see what I could do with this thing. And I've kind of come up with something that's sort of working. There's a lot of work ahead of me, but I'd like to just, document it and share it with you guys and, let you guys follow along with the journey. And, I would also like to maybe teach how I'm doing these things and what I'm using and how it's working out. And I'm hoping that, maybe other people will also give it a go. And at some point, maybe we'll be able to collaborate and, share some circuit design, some code, whatnot. But before we get into any of the how-tos, let's just talk first about the whys. Why even attempt this? And then maybe some of the why nots as well. So, why do this? A couple of reasons, really. I mean, one, I think it's going to be fun. Two, I think it's going to be a really good learning experience. That's probably, the most important thing about it. And three, it's going to be a challenge. So we'll see how we can do with it and, what happens. And I'm still really early in the process, and I can't guarantee you that I will ever even finish this, but, I've got my mind set on it right now, and that's, the goal is to build an aquarium controller and run a reef tank with it. So we'll see how it goes. So I hope that you follow along with the journey, and, if you're watching this for the first time and it's sometime in the future right now, don't just follow what I'm doing now. You might want to skip ahead a few videos or, go to the end and see, what the final result was and then see if this is some, path that you'd like to take. Because I'm sure there's going to be a lot of trial and error here. There's going to be a lot of stuff that changes from now till the end. But it's going to be a fun journey. All right, so with that being said, I think it's also important to cover some of the why nots. So, why we're not doing this. And let me turn on some light there so we can see it better. So, I'm not going to be doing this because I'm dissatisfied in any way with the Apex Aquarium controller. Quite the contrary, I love it. And I just want to know more about what makes it tick. So that's why I'm kind of trying to do my own. And it's given me a lot more appreciation for what I already have. Another reason why not is because I think I will save some money. Quite the contrary, when all said and done, I'm going to be buying a lot of components, some things I probably won't even need, some tools that I don't have. So the costs add up, pretty quickly. So yeah, I'm not trying to do this to save money or because I'm dissatisfied with the Apex. The main reason is just to learn, to have some fun, and challenge myself, and also maybe create something custom that I can't get anywhere else. So I think it's going to be a fun project, and I'll get into a little bit of about what we're looking at here. All right, so although it may not look like too much right now, this is going to be a pretty involved project. I mean, obviously we have the hardware, which we're looking at right now. There's going to be a big software component, which will probably be some of the hardest work ahead of us. And then I've got my little test lab over here, so So a lot of things that all had to kind of come together to make this project, what it is, and to even be able to progress and do anything with it. And there was a little bit of a chicken and egg syndrome, because you needed some software for it to do anything, but the software needs to talk to some hardware, so that needs to be there. And then to find out if it's actually doing anything, you need a little test lab there. So it's kind of been an iterative process to write a little bit of software, put some hardware together, see if it's working, and then test it out, make sure it's doing what it's supposed to do. And I'm struggling a little bit here to figure out where we should even start describing this. And I know this video is going to go a lot longer than I intended, but one of my other intentions is to just kind of break things down into small, manageable chunks. And I know this video is probably going to be rambling, and it's going to be a lot longer than some of the other ones that'll be coming up, but hope you guys stick with it. I think it's going to be fun. So right here is the heart of everything. That is the Raspberry Pi, which is right here, and we're going to be talking a lot about this thing. What that is basically a single board computer. So that little tiny thing right there is actually a computer. That does pretty much everything you would expect a computer to do. You can, hook a keyboard, a mouse, a monitor, get on the internet, browse the web, everything that you would expect to do with a computer, that thing does. And it's pretty powerful for its size. So I'm not going to get into all the specs and everything right now, but, that's, the brains right there. That would be equivalent to your base station or head unit or whatever you want to call it. So I've got that. That's connected right now to a 4-channel relay. And those are mechanical relays, which are in turn connected to all this over here. So I've got, a power cord coming in right here, and this is sort of like my power distribution center. And I've got a fuse in there, so in case something goes wrong, that fuse should blow before anything else, gets damaged or, happens. So that, and this is, 120 volts coming in. So, this is, live, mains coming through here. So, if you're, kids watching this, get your parents' permission first, because, this is the real deal. I mean, it could be potentially deadly, but I've tried to do everything as safely as I can. And again, this is, just a prototype right now. Obviously, you don't want to have any exposed wires on the, the main or the final project. But for right now, it's doing what it needs to do. So the power's coming in, and then this power is feeding into this 4-port outlet right up here. And this is a switched outlet. So this is being controlled by these 4 relays right here. So I could turn each one of these outlets on, on and off. So this would be sort of like my energy bar. And it's only 4 ports right now. And then I've got these 2 ports over here, which are always on. So these were wired for power all the time. And I've got my power supply for the actual Raspberry Pi plugged into there, supplying power. And then up here, I've got a couple of the sensors that I've been integrating so far. And we'll go into them into a lot more detail later. But this little blue one right here is monitoring the room temperature. And it can also measure humidity, which I think is a cool feature. So we're also going to be measuring room temperature and humidity with that. And then over here's a little circuit that I built. And we see 1 white wire coming off here, but it has the capability to support up to 3 temperature probes. So that wire is going over into the aquarium over here and monitoring the temperature of the water. And then these 4 ports are controlling various components. So I've got a simulated return pump, which is that power head over there. I've got a heater in here, which is down there. I've got a light plugged in, and I've also got a skimmer. So some of the basics that you would expect in any reef tank, I've got them plugged in there. So I can kind of simulate what a real system would be doing. So then over here we've got the computer, and we're going to get into the software and show you how that works. So let me get that set up for you guys. All right, so what we're looking at here is my MacBook Pro, and what I'm going to be doing is using this to log in wirelessly over to the Raspberry Pi. So, and I will be going over probably one of the first videos on how to set all of this up so you can begin working on all of this stuff yourself. But we're going to be using something called VNC to log into the Raspberry Pi. So let me just kind of position the camera in a place where we can watch this happen. All right, so this is the Macintosh desktop, and I'm going to go into VNC Viewer. And I've got two Raspberry Pis here. One is kind of my little breadboard unit, but the Reefberry Pi is the one that we're looking at right there. So we'll go ahead and log into that one. So now, this is still the MacBook, but we are looking at the desktop of the Raspberry Pi. And let me minimize all this for a second. And, it's, like I said, it is a computer. So there's a full computer there. This is running a version of Linux called Raspbian. And what I've done is gone ahead and written a native application in Python, which is a programming language. So if you are going to be following along or attempting any of the things that I'm doing, I'm going to tell you right now, you're going to need to learn Python, and don't worry, it is not that difficult. I had no idea how to do anything in Python a few weeks ago. And when we start getting into this, I'll send you some links, of the places that I've gone, how I've learned how to do what I've done so far. And yeah, if you've got any programming experience, this will come second nature to you. So it's not that big of a deal. So I've gone ahead and written a native application, and like I warned you guys in the beginning, this is a prototype. Nothing is finalized. This is not how I intend it to be in the end, but this is just what I wanted to do right now to kind of simulate or to at least test the things that I want to do. So I've got a GUI over here on the left-hand side, which is now displaying, and this is in Fahrenheit, and anybody that's watching this that's not in the US, don't worry. This can also be configured to go into centigrade, but I'm in the US, so we're going to work in Fahrenheit for right now. So this is the tank temperature. So that 78.9 is currently reading what the temperature of the fish tank is. It's warm down here in the basement right now. As you can see right there, 82.4 degrees Fahrenheit is the temperature, the ambient room temperature that I'm in right now. And 44% humidity. So those two readings right there, temperature and humidity, are coming off of that little blue chip right there. That's a DHT11 sensor. And I'm able to interface with that and pull the data off. Aside from grabbing, the data right now, I also wanted to log the data and to graph it so I could see, what the trends were and, what was happening over time. So that's what you see, these little graphs right here. So this is showing me basically what's happened over the past day with the tank temperature. And you can see it's been going up and down. That's because I got a few, zoom that in, little buttons over here. And if you've got an Apex aquarium controller, this will look very familiar to you. And these are controlling those 4 outlets. So these 4 lines right there basically are controlling these 4 outlets right there. And, we could turn them on, we could turn them off, or we could say auto, and it's going to basically run the program that they're programmed to do. You see up here, a little Reefberry Pi. That's just like a little logo that I created. I thought that was fun. So I put it there. And And then over here, I've got a little output log. So everything that's happening in the background is, popping up on that little shell over there and show me what's going on in the background. So say, for instance, I wanted to turn off my skimmer. So you can see right now the skimmer swirling around in there. And let me show you. You can see those these lights right there. So there's 3 red lights on right now. That's the ports 2, 3, and 4 are now on. And this skimmer is connected to port 4. I can turn it off. And you can see light for relay number 4 turned off. That means the relay is no longer engaged, which in turn switched off outlet number 4, which turned off my skimmer. So if we can turn this back on, I got the output right here that I turned it on. You can see the light came on, meaning I, enabled that relay again, which in turn enables that outlet, which in turn turned on my skimmer. And I could do the same thing for the other 4 ports. You could turn them on, you could turn them off. For instance, let's just do the light. It's an easy one to see. So right now it's on. Turn it off. The light's off. I can hit the button, turn it back on. And again, you can see the little relay switches over there. Off, on. So I have control over those relays, but it's nice to be able to turn them on and off like that, but the real power comes, with the intelligence that's built into an aquarium controller. And this is kind of, I've shown the, put that on auto, we'll put this on auto. So what I've just done there is allow them to run on their program schedule. So when I click on auto, it's basically going to tell me, so for my heater, it's going to try and keep it between 77 degrees and 78 degrees Fahrenheit. So right now it's off because it's above that temperature. It's now 78.9 degrees. So if that were to dip below 77, the heater will come on, and this would change to on and show me. The same with the return pump. Well, this is programmed to be always on, so auto is just going to keep that thing running. Lights are programmed to be on between 8 a.m. and 7 p.m. And as you can see right now, it's after 7 p.m., so the lights are off. But for demonstration purposes, let's turn them on. There we are. So it works very similar to how you would expect it to work on an Apex aquarium controller. So far so good. I mean, we've got that working. So connecting to relays is one thing, but these are very reactive to, the data that's happening right now. So what are the probes doing? What's the time doing? Or, whatever. It can react on, right now. But if I want to know, what happened earlier in the day, I also want to be able to log the data. So that's what I'm able to do here. So right now, this is currently showing, hey, what happened today? I could click on this for 1 week, and I've got a lot of work to do yet to improve the performance of everything, but I'm now pulling the data for 1 week, and the blue line is the aquarium temperature. So as you can see, I put the probe in a few days ago, and it's been pretty stable ever since. This yellow line is the external temperature, and that's kind of been jumping around a bit. So we'll get into, the resolution and everything of these temperature probes and everything, but suffice to say that the probe being used in the tank is a lot more precise, or a lot more sensitive than the external temperature. That's why you can see this nice graph for the blue one, and not so nice with the yellow one. Then I, could also go out to 1 month if we wanted to. If I got that. And then this will pull out the data for the last month and show that to us as well. And this is basically, the data for the last month. So here's, the current week is basically up in here. And this thing was, all over the place because I did not have it in my little, or I did not have the probe in the test system then. So it kind of was just jumping all over the place. But let's go back to today with that. And, so that is basically, the functionality that I have enabled so far. So I'm able to, measure the temperature of the aquarium. I am able to measure the external temperature of the ambient room temperature. I can measure the relative humidity, which you may think, why? Well, why not? I mean, it's already built into that sensor which I had, so I could do that. And I could think of this being, something that some people might want to do. So supposing you did have a fish room or something like that, and you wanted to measure the humidity and say, hey, once it hits a certain percentage, turn on your dehumidifier or turn on some exhaust fans or something like that. Hey, you could do that with this, which is a pretty unique feature. I mean, I don't see that on any other aquarium controllers. So, we'll play around with it, see, what we can do with it, but I think it's kind of cool. And I'm trying to think what else I can demonstrate right now. I mean, that's pretty much what I wanted to show you guys, and I'm pretty excited to finally be able to share this and to get it into, the state that it's in now. And like I said, there is a lot of work to be done. I basically, just scratching the surface, and I'm just super excited to, actually be able to, program that thing to react to the, external environment and to be able to measure what's going on and to react on it and to, control those relays to turn things on and off. And I think it's, some of the basics are done. So there's a few things that you probably don't see yet. There's no pH probe yet. I think that is critical. So that's something that I really want to work on integrating. I think it's going to be that's going to be a little bit of a challenge, for some technical reasons, but we'll get over it. I'm looking forward to attempting that. So that's probably one of the biggest items that's on the list. Is once I can get a pH probe working, I'm really going to be happy and not far behind a pH probe. I think that a salinity monitor, those are two things that I think you have to have on your aquarium controller, or things that'll be of a very, very good benefit. And those two things will be integrated very similarly. So there are two things that I have to do. So if I can't get those, or once I get those integrated, we're going to be able to do a lot more with this thing. But I think that's two things that we're going to be working on next. I have got a ton of ideas with this, and I don't want to bring them all up now, but a few other things I'll probably be doing. Sorry, just grabbing a couple components here. I also plan to integrate in, this is a little LCD module, which I'll be putting up onto this board somewhere. And this will be able to basically show me the current parameters that are going on without having to log into a computer or something. So this is something I've got. I'm going to need to wire this in. So we'll be doing that. Another thing which I'll probably be integrating in soon. I've also got a new relay, and I can open this. So this is an 8-channel relay. So rather than the only 4 channels, I'm going to replace that with an 8-channel relay to allow me to control 8 ports or 8 outlets instead of just 4. So to kind of give me some even more things I can control with this. And yeah, I'm really looking forward to working on this project, and I hope you guys are as excited as I am, and I hope you guys follow along. And yeah, I really hope that you guys stuck it out for this entire video. I know this has been like super long, and I promise, the future videos I'm going to try to keep them brief. And maybe I'll even throw some, fish tank videos or something in between while I'm doing a lot of talking, so to give you something else to look at rather than just, some boring wires or computer or something like that. So, all right, guys. So if you want to know more about this, hit that subscribe button. If you think this is going to be a fun project, hit that like. And hey, leave us some comments, man. Let me know what you think. And I look forward to hearing from you guys. And I'll catch you guys in the next video. Take care.